Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Blackstone. I am the Director of Maine New Leadership, and I'm very excited to share that with me today is the Honorable Mary Cathcart. Mary, as you know, is the 2021 recipient of Maine New Leadership's Minerva Award, and we thought it appropriate to check in with Mary and hear from her a little bit about her leadership experiences and journey and some of the lessons that she's learned in her experiences as a leader. So welcome, Mary, and congratulations on the award. We're very excited about it.
Thank you, Amy. I'm thrilled to get this award and so honored.
Well,
It's wonderful. Yeah.
we can't think of a better recipient. You're the most appropriate recipient, of course, as
Yeah.
the person who brought Maine New Leadership to Maine.
Well, you are a wonderful director of Maine New Leadership, and I'm so thankful to you for keeping it going and continuing to make it better and better for the students.
Thank you, Mary. Well, so one of the questions that I have for you that I think others would appreciate hearing about as well is just a little bit about your leadership journey and some of the lessons that you've learned along the way. Could you share that with us?
I think back to when I first volunteered. I had two little children and I was lonely. I had a husband then, but he had his job. We had just moved to Bangor, Maine at that time, and I learned about Spruce Run, which is now Partners for Peace, one of the first battered women's organizations in the whole United States, and they were looking for volunteers. And I went through that training, and I think that inspired me in so many ways and helped me to grow into feeling like I could be a leader. Partly it was a consensus building feminist organization of women supporting other women. And to me, that's just the basis for helping women become leaders. Women have to support other women. And just because you're a leader doesn't mean I can't be a leader too. So that's the way that worked. That got me involved more in political things. I was on a planning group when I worked at Spruce Run later as an employee for the first statewide conference on domestic violence, and worked with the Maine Commission for Women, the Maine Women's Lobby, and started thinking, oh, these are really interesting, important leaders to work with. And that inspired me, I think, to think I could run for office and really make a difference. So yes, and through, I think of my experience in the House and the Maine Senate of the leaders that we had that were women, whether they were elected to the leadership positions or not, they were ones that mattered to me and helped me to grow as a leader.
Were there any surprises along the way in your journey as a leader?
Surprises. Surprises. It's hard to say.
I surprised you with that question.
Just because they are women doesn't mean that they are always going to be on your side. But, basically it was that I found that particularly when I got to the Senate and we had women in leadership, that I did find that the women leaders were more participatory and there was more consensus building in the caucus, the Democratic caucus. Say way back when I first was in the Senate, Shelley Pingree was our majority leader, the floor leader for the Senate Democrats. And we actually that year had a majority of women in the Democratic caucus, which felt very empowering to us women.
Yeah.
So those were good surprises. Boy, I really liked it when there were women leaders.
That's great. One of the things that I love about your story, Mary, is that you started as a volunteer. You had an interest in being involved in the community and a passion for the work that Spruce Run does, and so you signed up to be a volunteer, and eventually that led to you serving in our House and our Senate in the state. And I think sometimes students who come to Maine New Leadership, they come and they think, well, I don't really know why my professor said I should be in this program or thought I would be a good fit, or I don't really see myself as a leader, or I could never run for office. And I think your story in particular just exemplifies what one of the things that we hope students will see is that you start somewhere. You don't necessarily start running by running for Senate, but you can start as a volunteer, and there are so many places that could lead. So speaking of our students, I would love to hear from you what you hope students who participate in the Maine New Leadership Program will take from their experience.
First, I hope that they will all go away realizing that it's empowering when you have a group where they're all women and the women are supporting the other women in becoming leaders. The other lesson I think that I remember so much from speakers from Maine New Leadership is that you shouldn't jump to conclusions. You should learn to listen to other people and weigh the different arguments on both sides. It helps if people don't make the judgments. And one thing I remember several speakers saying is never burn your bridges, especially if you're on a volunteer, say the steering committee, the board of directors of a volunteer organization that you are working with. Don't assume that because somebody disagrees with you on one thing, you're always going to disagree or that's a bad person. Come away with being more open-minded and being willing to listen and find areas that you have in common.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that struck me early on as I came on board in this role with New Leadership is watching that sort of in action and watching students learn how much more effective they can be when they don't make those assumptions. It's just it was the first year I did it. I know I've said this to you a million times, but the first year I went through the program, I just left it so energized and excited to continue because of how you see students transform in terms of their ability to stop and say, hey, I guess I don't agree with this person, but I've learned these things from them and they've learned from me. And it's just so invigorating and inspiring to watch students go through that. So thank you for bringing that opportunity to our students. It's great.
Yeah, it's such a rewarding thing to do. And, I miss the students. I still stay in touch with quite a few through Facebook, which is just great to see where they are now and what they're doing. So wish them a happy birthday. Yeah, and
that's great.
It's wonderful and rewarding to do that kind of work and see the people grow and find out what they're doing later that shows that they are leaders and whatever they decide to do.
Yes, it really is. Final question for you. Anything else that hasn't come up in our very short conversation? I know there's a whole lot more that we could talk about and that you could share, but other thoughts that have occurred to you throughout our conversation or other things you want to be sure to share with folks who are here to celebrate with you, your receipt of this award, or with our Maine New Leadership students and alums?
Well, the University of Maine and the Margaret J. Smith Policy Center have been wonderful over these years to support a program like Maine New Leadership. It took a while to sort of build support and think, okay, it does cost money. You bring 28 students to UMaine and they have to have meals every day, 3 meals a day, and rooms in the residence halls, etc. But the university's been so supportive over the years, and the university system has been very supportive. I won't name names of the people there because I'll forget somebody, but it's been just great to work with the administration. Changing administrations even have been wonderful. And I think of Eva McLaughlin and Sharon Barker as wonderful people that should be recognized. Rebecca Smith, I can't leave out Rebecca because Rebecca and I founded New Leadership together. And she was a policy fellow, I believe we called her, with the Margaret J. Smith Policy Center. Didn't come and work there. She lives in Union. She's an attorney, but she and I got really excited about doing this program. We started building support. We got a little grant from the Community Foundation, had a couple of statewide planning meetings in Augusta and here in Orono. And Rebecca stayed with us for years, and she's much younger than I. And in fact, she's the daughter of George Smith, who recently passed away, who was a great leader himself. I miss Rebecca too. We really worked hard together, and being different in some ways, but alike in so many ways, and wanting to see young women become leaders. It was just really important to me.
That's great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you to you and Rebecca both for bringing this program to Maine. We today have over 300 students who have been through the program, and our alum network just continues to grow. We are offering a hybrid program in 2021 in recognition of the reality that we live in today with the pandemic. We'll do a bunch of virtual programming, and then we hope, COVID allowing, to bring students together for a weekend in between, in the middle of our online programming. And then we hope to be back to fully residential by 2022. So lots of big things in the works. And I thank you for your comments and for sharing some of your lessons. Because I'm a professor and I like to talk and I like to share lessons too, I can't leave you all without sharing one lesson that I have received from Mary, and that I continue to reflect on as I continue this work. And that is, in my very first year of involvement with the program, Mary, you and I had a year of overlap where you were serving as director in your final year and I was coming on board, and we had so much fun traveling around the state, meeting with folks who have been supporters of New Leadership for many years. And it was wonderful to watch you in action. I confess that early on, I kind of wondered, do we need to be having so many conversations with so many people? And wouldn't it make more sense for us to do a big meeting with everybody? And I realized after watching you and participating in these conversations, one, the importance of bringing as many people to the table as possible and as diverse a group as possible in terms of perspective. And that's one of the things we did, was visit with people from all over with many different perspectives. And two, that it matters to really just sit down and have a conversation with people. Because once you know them in a way that you can get to know them from a one-on-one conversation, it's so much easier to see the similarities that you have with each other, even when there may be differences and you disagree. And I think it's so much easier to make some progress together, even if you disagree, and to be willing to hear each other. So I continue to reflect on that year together with you on the road, and the many introductions that you made for me and with me, and am so appreciative of it. And thank you again for all of your work for women in Maine and people in Maine in your leadership. We're truly grateful for you.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's been great working with you, and I know that we will interact and have more Women of Power receptions, which I look forward to.
Yes.
Thank you for the Minerva Award. It's so beautiful, and it's special that it was a woman artist who made it for me, and I will treasure that.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. So Mally Weber of Hallowell Clay Works makes a gorgeous sculpture every year. Do you happen to have it handy, Mary?
I have it. Let me think, where's the best place to put it where it can be. I don't know if you can see it here on my.
We can.
It's really
there
beautiful.
is Minerva.
Yeah.
It really is. So again, Mally Weber of Hallowell Clay Works makes these for us, and because she supports the mission of Maine New Leadership and is excited about the spirit of this award, and we're so grateful to her. And it's beautiful, and it's just really cool. I love it.
Somebody asked me, I said, I'm getting an award, and they said, what is it? And I said, it's for being a wise woman. Like Minerva.
Yes.
And as I remember, Minerva did strategic thinking too, that she was noted for strategy and wisdom, and a very powerful leader.
Yes. So two powerful women leaders right there, Mary Cathcart and Minerva. Thank you again, Mary, and congratulations.
Yeah, woman leader, Amy. Thank you so much for doing this and for this beautiful award.